Hello, welcome to the Babylon Man channel, and you're now watching, or at least listening to me. So I go by the annotation Babylon Man, and that's because I've been studying about Babylon the Great in the Book of Revelation for a very long time, and I also go by the pseudonym Michael Ross. Well, it turns out that I'm publishing a book, and the book is entitled Babylon the Great, Day of Destruction. And what we have coming upon us is the month of June. Right now is May 31st, and the month of June will be a month, I believe, that will change the world. I'm going to give you information in this video very quickly. I hope to have a video that will be available as well, and you can send an email to erc@babylonamerica.com. That's erc@babylonamerica.com. And one thing that has to be understood is that America is Babylon the Great. Now, back in September 2015, and as well as October 2015, I put out a couple of other videos, and you can please check them out on this YouTube channel. And that'll give you some background information, which I won't go through and cover again. Excuse me. At any rate, so Elul 23rd in 2015 was an important date. Now, when you say the Elul, what does that mean? Well, Elul is a month in the Hebrew calendar, and it turns out that the Jews have different months in their calendar than Gentiles have. And Elul is the last month in the commercial Hebrew calendar, and it turns out that Elul 23rd is amazing. It's an amazing, amazing day. It turns out that Elul 23rd was a day that changed the world. Elul 23rd in 1945 was September the 1st, 1945 in Washington, D.C. And in the evening of Washington, D.C., it was already the morning of September 2nd, 1945 in Tokyo Bay. And if you're a fan of history, you'll know that in Tokyo Bay on September 2nd, the Japanese emperor, through his emissaries, signed unconditional documents of surrender. That marked the day that America was totally done with World War II. America was the main victor, and America's global hegemony was sealed. America from then had 70 years to be the world's #1 power. And America has been the world's #1 power for some 70 years. But God does things in amazing ways, and He uses multiples, and thanks to the work and the research by Jonathan Cahn and Mark Biltz and others, we know that the Hebrew calendar is very important. So I wanted to make mention of Jonathan Cahn because a lot of the research that I have uncovered has been inspired by him. But unfortunately, he missed some things that are just amazing. Elul 23rd, so like I say, Elul 23rd was September 1st, 1945. Well, it turns out that September the 11th, 2001, we all know that was a time when the World Trade Towers were attacked. It was a terrible day in American history. It was also a day that could be seen as almost a pre-warning, or a preview, if you will, of the day of destruction that's soon to come upon America. Well, it turns out that September 11th, 2001 was Elul 23rd. Now, the Hebrew calendar has some 355 dates in it per year on the average year, and what's the chances that it's the same Hebrew date? The same Hebrew date. The day America got its hegemony and the day America was attacked. It also turns out that it's a multiple of 7. 7 times 8 is 56. It's exactly 56 years to the exact Hebrew date America was attacked. It also turns out that exactly 7 years later, Elul 23rd is the midpoint of the financial crisis in September of 2008. I moved to the Philippines early in 2015 thinking that September 2015 would be Day of Destruction. I even bothered to get notarized documents to prove that I knew that September would be America's destruction. That is September 2015. Thankfully, I was wrong. But I knew something would happen. Something did happen. On Elul 23rd, 2015, it was September 7th, 2015. Elul 23rd, 2015 showed us something. It showed that Russia got involved in Syria. 2 days before that, there was not even a clue that Russia was getting involved in Syria. 2 days after that, it was well established that Russia had gotten militarily involved with Syria. Why is that important? Well, if you know about anything about prophecy, you'll know something about Ezekiel chapters 30 and 39, which talks about the Gog and Magog invasion of Israel. Russia is most probably Magog. Iran is mentioned. Persia is mentioned. And so there's this invasion of Russia, Iran, and some various other allies that invade Israel, probably also to attack Saudi oil fields. Why is that all important? Well, if you think that America is not going to be involved, you should think again. America will be involved. Now, why am I so concerned about June, though? Why June? In particular, there's 2 dates, June 7th and June 23rd, which are showing up on my radar screen. After all, I am Babylon man, so I should know something about the future history of America. But it turns out that June 7th and June 23rd are very important dates. I've noticed in the last year, something very new has occurred to me, that the timeline of Noah, what I call the dates of Noah, the timeline of Noah, is being reused by God to usher in end times events. Now it turns out that the Jews have in their tradition these dates all figured out in their tradition, and there are 10 different days in which Noah did things with regards to the flood. The flood lasted for exactly 365 days, and during that year, Noah recorded 10 different times. He did 10 individual specific things on 10 different dates. I call them the Noah dates. But it turns out, Jesus even said, just like the times of Noah would be the end time. So it turns out that actually that statement is very, very true. It's true to the utmost detail. And I've been noticing that end times events have been happening on Noah dates. And so my book, Babylon the Great, Day of Destruction, talks about that. It's available as an ebook, and it will be available very soon. At any rate, what does this all mean? Why am I so concerned about June 7th? Well, it turns out that June 7th is exactly 9 months away from September 7th. It also turns out, and that's the date of a woman's time to give birth, and we know that the Lord talks about the end times being like a time of a woman in childbirth. We also know that something else is very important. We also know that there's this phenomenon called the blood moons, thankfully researched by Mark Miltz. We know that the last blood moon happened last September, again, the month of Elul. This is the year following that month. It's also interesting to me that in the Jubilee year, this seems to be a Jubilee year for the Jews, that in the Jubilee year, the Jews reclaim land. It would be interesting that if they would reclaim land on the Temple Mount. For them to do so, their Islamic enemies have to be somewhat neutralized. There's coming upon this world a nuclear war. It will happen someday. The book of Revelation talks about 1/3 of the earth burning with fire. You cannot stop it. I cannot stop it. And I guarantee you that whatever day this happens, it will be an important day in the history of the world, an important day set aside from the foundation of time by God himself. He is working out his schedule. It's not for us to tell him, but please, Lord, another day. Please, Lord, another month. Please, Lord, another year. Now is the time to leave America. Now is the time to leave Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Canada. Get out. Get out. Now, you just don't have time to wait. You must leave now. There is no pre-tribulation rapture. That's why in the book of Jeremiah it even tells people, flee for your lives. Individuals should flee for your lives. You can't wait for your husband. You can't wait for your mother. You can't wait for your sister. They're all going to be dead. Radioactive pieces of charcoal. Such is the future for America. Am I waking you up? Am I waking you up? June 7th and June 23rd will be important dates. I hope that June 7th will be a very big warning. So for those of you who are Christians, those of you who know your Bible, those of you who put your faith in God, now is the time to liquidate assets. Now is the time to liquidate your bank accounts. Now is the time to take out whatever loan you can. Get out of America. Just get out. You have a purpose in life, and your purpose is to serve God. And if you can get out ahead of time by faith, then by faith you can preach to others in that other country you might find yourself in. June 7th is a Noah date. It's Sivan the 1st. June 23rd is a Noah date. It's Sivan 17th. Very likely that Day of Destruction could very well happen this coming June. We can't know that for sure. I am not a prophet. I am only a student of Bible prophecy. So again, if you want information, please send me an email. The email is erc@babylonamerica.com. erc@babylonamerica.com. The ERC stands for Eschatology Research Council. I've trying to start this little entity called ERC Communications here in the Philippines to help to facilitate the education of Christians regarding the end times. It makes sense to me that June would be the time, and it would almost definitely happen on June 7th or June 23rd, because there's no Noah date in the month of July. There's only one in the month of August, and the Jews have to retake, I believe, their Temple Mount this year. God is on a schedule. 49 years ago, the Jews retook Jerusalem. 49 years later, according to Jewish years, the Jews received the Balfour Declaration, giving them the right to go back to their homeland. God is on a schedule. This is the 49th year. This 49th year is up, according to the Jewish calendar, in September. Things are going to happen this summer. It is almost a guarantee. America signed its death warrant, and it went with homosexual marriage. America's been killing babies. #1 producer of pornography. Took out prayer for public schools. But while all the time while doing this, still having the the bravado to put "In God We Trust" on our coins. God cannot be mocked, and He will not be mocked anymore. I still love my country, but my country has abandoned God, and I cannot stop what is soon to take place. You cannot stop it. I cannot stop it. It's on God's schedule. He's going to do it. The person who is responsible for this destruction is told to us in Revelation chapter 17. And that person is the beast. Now, if indeed Putin will be the one who will call the shots on this, by definition, it seems to me that Putin will then become the beast. He'll probably take over Greece, and there's some reasons for that, which I won't go into. We don't have time. I would ask you, however, to get in contact with me if you're concerned about this. I will do my very best to send you an email back and get you whatever information you need to make whatever decisions you need to make to get out of America. I believe you'll see either June 7th or June 23rd as Day of Destruction. I believe that June 7th will pop out of nowhere. All of a sudden, bad things are going to happen. I hope that June 7th is a warning call for Christians, so that Christians have some time. There's 16 days between June 7th and June 23rd. I hope that Christians have some time to get out of America. If you're listening to this video, you may think this is all hyperbole. You may think this is all shouting hot air into the clouds. Most certainly, that's not what this is about. I've been studying about Babylon my whole life. I've been raised as an engineer. I graduated in the top 1% of my engineering class. For a while, I was a professor of engineering and author of multiple engineering articles. I'm not an end times so-called idiot. I know of what I'm talking about, and I'm not a crazy man. But I know that people think that I'm a crazy man, and my parents and my sister are still in America. And I can tell you that with a heavy heart, I say these things. America is a beautiful, wonderful, lovely place. I miss it greatly. But to stay in America will mean your death, a death that is unnecessary, and a death that you should do your best to try to avoid. Most Americans do have enough money and do have the ability to get on a plane. For those of you that can leave, please do leave. For those of you who cannot leave, now is the time to pray. Now is the time to get close to God. Now is the time to make final amends for the sins that are in your life, for we all are sinners in need of the gracious mercy of God. Thank you for listening to this little YouTube video. I hope it is instructive for you, and I hope that you will take my warnings seriously, and that you will choose to preserve your life for the glory of God. Thank you again. So my name is Babylon Man, and with that, I'm signing off. Okay, bye-bye.